The idea which created RSS was part of Hindu common sense, or thin borderline between Hindu common sense and Hindutva common sense. RSS cannot accept failure. RSS is a worshipper of success at any cost. So there is no principle, no ideal, it's only success. You have to succeed, and for success, you have to make compromises. And Ram Manohar Lohia had this democratic ambition to unseat Congress. And to do that, he would shake hands with devil, and that devil was RSS. And that's how RSS started creeping back into main political field. In fact, it's RSS which pursued Jayaprakash Narayan to lead the movement, which was initially a students' movement. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee was a parliamentary personality. So despite his being an RSS man, he was this. He was, after all, a Swayamsevak. Advani was very decisive, and he's more critical to the project of Hindutva than even Narendra Modi. This time the RSS chief has said that it doesn't have any subordinate organizations, but we know what Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad is, what Sanskar Bharati is, what Seva Bharati is, what Vidya Bharati is. If the corporate world withdraws, then where does RSS stand? And they know that the medium is Narendra Modi for now. So I hold corporate world hugely responsible for the plight that we are in, and for each and every murder of Muslim.
Salam, Namaste, Zindabad. This is Harsh Mander for one more episode of our podcast series, Partitions of the Heart. In this season, we are talking about 100 years of the RSS. And we're doing this in collaboration with Himal, Southasian. I'm genuinely very privileged and happy to have Professor Apoorvanand as our guest today. Professor Apoorvanand teaches Hindi in Delhi University, and apart from that, he's a leading public intellectual in the country, a very sharp and brave political and social commentator, and a very dear friend. So thank you for coming, Apoor.
Yes.
Apoor, this year is going to be 100 years of the RSS, and it's an irony of history that they celebrated on Dussehra. This year, Dussehra falls on October 2nd, Gandhiji's birthday, and there's a very sort of strange, bitter irony in that. And we know that the RSS, the ideology of the RSS and Hindutva, is what powered the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. And in the immediate aftermath of that, the RSS was very badly stigmatized in many parts of the country. It went into the shadows of public life. In my early childhood in the 50s, I don't recall ever seeing a Shakha or anyone proudly, claiming to be a member of the RSS. It had gone into the shadows of public life. It looked as if, the secular constitutional idea of India, where the Gandhi, Nehru, Ambedkar, Maulana Azad's idea for India had prevailed. And then we saw the RSS emerging from the shadows. So in this, in this conversation, I really want to understand from you this journey of the RSS from Gandhiji's assassination up to 2014. How did it come out of the stigma and shadows of Gandhiji's assassination, and how did it, rise and rise and rise and now become the juggernaut, the main political force in this country? What has brought us to that place?
Thank you very much, Harsh, for having me here. I would say that, well, organizationally, RSS had receded after 1948, but the idea which created RSS was part of Hindu common sense. That we should not forget. That was a very powerful and dominant idea even in Congress party, which I say Hindutva common sense, which is, there is a very thin, I would say, separation or thin borderline between Hindu common sense and Hindutva common sense.
But an important line, I think.
It's an important demarcation line, but it's very easy for a Hindu to become a Hindutvadi. And that's why, as I said, that this was a very powerful and dominant idea, and we should not forget that if you leave, if you don't think about the organization Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, and if you start thinking about the ideas which constituted RSS, you see those ideas present in many leading national personalities
of the time.
And they were in Congress, they were congressmen. So what actually constitutes RSS and what constitutes the Hindutva of RSS? Just now, before coming to your studio, I was talking to my students, and they said, and I also said, that RSS is actually not about Hindus. RSS is about Muslims.
Yes, absolutely.
Is about what kind of relationship Hindus should have with Muslims. That is RSS.
Yes.
That we need to understand. So why do you want to organize Sangathan mein Shakti hai? This is the motto of RSS, and RSS says that our objective is to unite Hindus. Yes. But why are you uniting Hindus? Yes. And
why are you waving those lathis? No,
lathis. So this is, I say that this is classical fascism, because what is fascism? Fascism, the origin of fascism is, the idea behind fascism is unity. So you unite, there is a bundle of, so you unite, but you unite against something. You don't unite for their sake, you unite against some other figure.
Yeah. And normally an internal enemy.
So this unity is not only unity of Hindus. When you say unity of Hindus, what you don't say is that it's unity of Hindus against Muslims and Christians. It's very clear. So RSS is that. Yes. But RSS is based on this idea, and this idea is prevalent in common Hindus as well, and in many leading Hindu personalities, yes, like Madan Mohan Malviya, or like Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak and others. Gokhale to a lesser extent because he was liberal, but Bal Gangadhar Tilak definitely, and Malviya definitely, but they were tempered by their times, and also the presence, the huge, large, looming figure of Gandhi, who was such a, I would say, sobering, he had a sobering effect on all of them, that they had to somehow subdue this part of their ideology. And they were also complex figures. You look at Lala Lajpat Rai, look at Madan Mohan Malviya, look at Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and when I read my early Hindi writers, Bhartendu Harishchandra and all others, when they speak about Hinduness, it's always, there is a Muslim figure
on the other side.
On the other side. Yes. So you gain your power by disempowering Muslims. And that's why there was not that kind of antipathy against the British or English, they were, as in Anand Math and in other writings, they were treated as allies who are going to liberate you from the dominance of Yavanas or Mlechas, and they are Muslims. So we have to first understand that this is a very powerful thing which constitutes Hindu common sense. And secondly, I was reading the correspondence between Indira Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru, 1948-49. Indira Gandhi is in Lucknow. Firoz Gandhi is there. He's there to look after National Herald, and Indira is there. And Indira writes to Nehru that what I find very disturbing is that in the majority of congressmen, in many Congress people, or in bureaucracy and police, the RSS mindset is dominant.
As far back as 48.
This is what she is writing, and this is a volume edited by Sonia Gandhi, Two Together, Two Alone, and in that there are 2 letters which she writes this, and one of these 2 letters is also very entertaining to read, because in that letter she talks about I am forgetting his name, but a prominent Congress leader, and she says that the way he is changing the names of places from Bad to Pur. Okay. If it keeps happening like this, I will change my name to Firoza Begum.
Wow.
This is Indira Gandhi. And then she talks about the rally of RSS in Allahabad. And she says that how it was allowed. So this is 1948-49. And you should not forget that Urdu was disallowed as a language to be studied in schools. In Congress rule, it was Pandit Sampurnanand. So what you call RSS...
Pandit Sampurnanand also brought the first cow protection laws.
Yes. So what you call RSS, why RSS gets, from where RSS gets its life? From this common sense. From this natural, quote unquote natural, and the prejudices that Hindus have about Muslims, against Muslims and against Christians. So it draws its strength and its life from them.
But would you still say it's Hindu common sense or Hindutva common sense?
As I said, that it's very difficult. You can migrate from one to the other very easily, and it's very difficult. For example, recently I saw a video of celebration of Ganesh Chaturthi in Mumbai. Now they were singing bhajan of Ganesh in praise of Lord Ganesh. Now you are singing, and suddenly it becomes tel laga lo Babar ka aur kaam kar do Babar ka. So from there to here, how easily you transit. And this is what I say when I say that Hindu common sense can very easily become Hindu common sense. It's not very difficult. And that's why RSS stayed despite the ban on RSS. The attraction of the idea had not gone.
Despite Gandhiji's assassination.
Gandhiji's assassination did stun India, did stun Hindus, and Gandhiji still exercised kind of authority which was extraordinary, despite, again, it's very complex the way social psychology works. Gandhiji was disliked by upper caste Hindus. Disliked. You read novels, and you read how they curse Gandhi. I belong to Devghar, a land where Pandas dominate. I belong to that community. And I still remember the stories when Gandhiji visited the temple of Shiva temple of Devghar. And this was his campaign in which he wanted Hindus to open the doors of temples for Harijans, and he was attacked by Pandas. First hatred or primary hatred against Gandhi was that he was trying to bring those par with upper caste, those who were considered lowly people, and he was calling them Harijan. We can dislike this term, but what Gandhi was saying, that I won't call the upper caste people Harijan. They don't qualify to be called Harijan. They are Harijans. So you cannot be people of God because you practice inequality, you practice untouchability.
Therefore, you are not Harijan.
You are not qualified. You are not Harijan. They are Harijans, and it's now misconstrued and misunderstood and disliked. So that's fine, but that was the reason Gandhi was hated. And then you took this excuse that no, it was because Gandhi didn't stop the creation of Pakistan, and Gandhi asked Indian government to give 55 crore rupees to Pakistan, and that angered us, and that's why we killed Gandhi. And you hide the fact that it was Pune, the seat of conspiracy of assassination of Gandhi, where that bomb was thrown, and it fell on the pilot car, and it was a crudely made bomb, and that's why Gandhi survived. Otherwise, he would have been killed 10 years before independence, if independence
would have come.
Was to come on 15th August 1947. So it was only a coincidence that he lived. We must not forget that.
Yeah.
And we should put this assassination in perspective, in proper perspective. That this is how, this is series, and this is process. And at one point in this process, he was finally killed. Yeah.
And it's interesting. So that's a great point. That Gandhiji was assassinated. The RSS was briefly banned as an organization, but the idea continued to survive. So that's to start with. But as an organization, it emerged from the shadows. How did that happen?
No, first because there was great sympathy towards Gandhi, even towards RSS, even in Sardar Patel. And what I find very strange when I read Gandhians, that even after the assassination of Gandhi, they have no anger against RSS. And that surprises me. And that shocks me.
I think the first betrayal that enabled the RSS to emerge from the shadows as an organization was by Gandhian socialists themselves.
And Gandhians. Gandhian socialists and Gandhians, because Patel was no socialist.
Yes.
He was an anti-socialist, but anti-socialist, anti-communist Gandhians and socialist together, they legitimized RSS. And they didn't find, for example, they don't have any non-negotiable. So you don't support swastika, and you cannot entertain a person who says that I'm a Nazi. But in India, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you belong to RSS, I can have tea with you, and that I find very difficult to reconcile with. So, what RSS did, and this is the art of survival, because when the whole nation was engaged in struggle against the British, RSS decided not to join that battle, because the idea was to survive, the idea was to live, the idea was to live for a Hindu Rashtra, and therefore they made alliances, and their people made alliances, and they allowed a kind of flexibility in which their Swayamsevaks could go to other organizations, and this was only because RSS wanted to survive, wanted to live, and not put itself in danger. And we must not forget the words of I think Golwalker or Hedgewar, again I am forgetting, but when people went to him after Bhagat Singh's hanging, he said that we cannot treat him as our ideal because he didn't succeed, he failed. So, so you can understand that RSS cannot accept failure. RSS is a worshipper of success, success at any cost. So there is no principle, no ideal, it's only success. You have to succeed, and for success you have to make compromises. You have to live, so you have to make compromises. It's not about moral, it's not about any ideal. And that's why when they were banned, they pleaded desperately with Patel and others. And the first thing what they did, and that's very crucial to understand RSS, because RSS hated Gandhi. Days before Gandhi was killed, Golwalker was here near Gandhi, near Delhi, in a camp, and he had issued a warning that if Gandhi doesn't stop, and what was Gandhi doing? Gandhi was trying to persuade Hindus and Sikhs of Delhi not to attack Muslims and let Muslims live in. And he was trying to build peace. And RSS was very angry with that. And he warned that if he doesn't stop, we can silence him.
We know how to silence him.
Now, we know how to silence, and we can silence him. He didn't take name in typical RSS style. But this was a clear threat. This was a clear warning, and this was a clear signal to RSS people that he can be killed, and it's fair game. So that was Golwalker. And you talk to RSS people, each and every one of them, they hate Gandhi. Yeah. But how is it that Gandhi is now in the pantheon of RSS? Pratah Smaraniya. So they have figures. Pratah Smaraniya. Gandhi was promptly placed there after the assassination, and they declared a mourning of 13 days. Okay. And they immediately dissociated themselves from Nathuram Godse. This is what RSS did. Despite that, it was banned. And it was banned by Patel, who had sympathies for them. He could not ban them. So he banned them. But RSS, two things we need to understand, that RSS just cannot remain underground. RSS has to work overground. So it goes extra mile to convince, and each time it happens, it pleads with the government to allow it to function over. And that happened in emergency when Balasaheb Devaras wrote letters to Indira Gandhi, pleading loyalty and saying that we will work to make your 20-point program and other programs success, and we should be allowed to function overground, etc. A similar thing happened in 1948, and ultimately Patel said that you have to accept our constitution and give a pledge that you are not political, and they did that. Just because they wanted this ban to be lifted. Because you know how difficult it becomes when you have to work underground. So you have to work overground. You have to run schools, you have to run shakas, you have to do these things. Second, they don't want to spend time in jail. They are very scared of that. So they would do anything to get out of jail. They would write mercy petitions, they would plead loyalty to government. That is what they did, and that is how they came out of ban. But just after that, don't forget that Ram Manohar Lohia, in early 50s, he went to a shakha in Kanpur. He went to campaign for for Deen Dayal Upadhyay. He forced bonds with Deen Dayal Upadhyay. So Ram Manohar Lohia was one of the first to legitimize the RSS.
Okay. Even before Jayaprakash Narayan.
Even before Jayaprakash Narayan came in 1974. And but it was Ram Manohar Lohia. And Ram Manohar Lohia had this democratic ambition to unseat Congress. And to do that, he would shake hands with devil. And that devil was RSS. And that's how RSS started creeping back into main political field, and through Jansangh, it started making alliances, because you can always have this excuse that Jansangh is different and RSS is different.
So we won't indulge in political activity, but Jansangh is organized.
So Jansangh is, and is Jansangh RSS? Is RSS Jansangh? Is BJP RSS? So only days before, the RSS chief said that no, we don't decide, but it's an open secret that it's the RSS which decides.
Yeah, and he also says, like you were saying, decades ago, he's saying people are free to go and agitate for Mandir and
now they can agitate for Kashi and Mathura.
Yeah.
So that is how RSS operates, and the democratic urge, I would say, of people like Lohia, who wanted to change government, in that desperation,
they were willing.
They said that we won't have any non-negotiable, and we can align with anyone, and they allied with RSS, and that is how RSS got its strength.
Yeah. So coming, the big decisive moment was the 70s.
No, 60s.
You feel for their return into public life.
Yeah, because 60s was the first time when in 7 states, I'm not mistaken, or if I'm not wrong, in 7 states the opposition formed government, and in many states in government, Jansangh
was
part of the government, and in 1 or 2 communists were also there. So that was the first major entry of RSS or Jansangh into parliamentary politics, where they tested power and they got into state institutions. So that was mid-60s.
I look at Europe now, where the far right, fascistic kind of parties, racist parties, etc., neo-Nazi parties are coming to power. And in election after election, we are seeing they either win the election in Europe, or they're the second in power. But there's been a very principled stand of that no one will align with them to come to power. Otherwise, there are situations where, because they had enough of a vote share, a number of seats, if a party would align and come to power with them, that possibility till today, and I'm waiting and hoping that it does not break. I mean, I was seeing this visual where the parliamentarians in France were being welcomed by the deputy leader of the house, who was from the far right, and in a principled way, he put out his hand and the parliamentarians would walk past, refusing to shake his hand. That separation has not happened. I mean, that this is a red line which we will not cross. You're saying as early as the 1960s that didn't happen, but
as early as 1940s, late 40s, I'm telling you, this is Indira Gandhi telling Nehru that in your party there are people who entertain ideas which are akin to the ideas of RSS.
Yeah. And I was thinking, because after the BJP was formed, virtually every political party, incidentally, except the Congress, has formed an alliance or been in power, including the left, with the
BJP.
With the BJP, and so that legitimization has also, I think, has contributed a great deal to.
So as I said, that 60s formation of these opposition governments in some states, and after that, because in 67 and 74, it's not a great distance.
Okay.
It's not even 10 years, you would say. And it's very interesting if you divide Indian history, post-independence, 10 years cycle, and see how things have changed. So from 67 to 74, 75. It's not even 10 years. And so RSS does it work in Gujarat and then in Bihar, and it persuades Jayaprakash Narayan. In fact, it's RSS which persuades Jayaprakash Narayan to lead the movement, which was initially a students' movement. And again, it's very complex history, which people generally don't talk about because they have simplified it and they call it JP agitation. And they never ever analyze how RSS built this agitation and brought JP to the forefront. And JP put one condition, that RSS has to supply muscle power, because where would numbers come from?
Yes.
And that was the condition JP put before them. And that was a compromise, and that was an understanding between them. And Nanaji Deshmukh was the second in command in that agitation, and he became a saint, Nanaji Deshmukh, an RSS man. He becomes a saint, and this is the travesty we live in. So that was 74 when Jayaprakash Narayan decided, and again because of his own frustrations, I would say, because he had a self-image and he thought that he was next to Gandhi and the nation had to accept that, and somehow it didn't happen. So this was the chance.
But to get there, you take the parties whose ideology contributed to Gandhiji's assassination.
And he was dead against RSS, mind you. You read his press conference after the assassination of Gandhi. You read what he wrote about RSS post Gandhi assassination. He is very strong against RSS. But in 74, again, because as I said that, and it has not been analyzed because of many psychological complexities, he decided to lead this movement, and he propounded this very I would say vague idea of Sampurna Kranti, total revolution, which is nothing. And again, RSS took advantage of that. And then Janata Party happened. Jansangh was dissolved. It became part of Janata Party, but it was never permanently dissolved. And that question was raised by George Fernandez, that you can't have dual membership. So you can't be a member of RSS and at the same time member of. And at that point, Janata Party was broken and BJP was born. Because how can RSS allow it? And that you don't remain a member of RSS. And all the promises that RSS had made to Jayaprakash Narayan, which Jayaprakash Narayan very naively accepted. Again, to be kind to Jayaprakash Narayan, he was naive. I don't think so, because he was an intelligent person and he should have known better from his knowledge and experience. But RSS had told publicly and promised Jayaprakash Narayan, which he kept citing. Why did you take RSS along? And he said that RSS has promised that it will decommunalize itself. But RSS refused.
But how could he have, I mean, the kind of, when Bihar, the chief minister, you only have told me on another occasion, Ghaffur was
Abdul Ghaffur
was the chief minister of Bihar, and they used beef.
No, the slogan was, गाय हमारी माता है, गफूर उसको खाता है. I still remember that because I was child.
The cow is our mother, and Ghaffur eats
cow, our mother. And there were other derogatory slogans against Ghaffur. And Ghaffur was considered to be one of the most honest chief ministers of Bihar. So why did Jayaprakash Narayan insist on dissolution of his government? Is a question which is never asked. That it was apparently
and that the RSS was already displaying its communal agenda.
Yeah, and he tolerated it and he overlooked it. Now, JPI it's defended by saying that no, it was marginal, but it was not marginal. How is it that now I am 63, I still remember that slogan. I was a child. So it's not that it was marginal.
Absolutely.
It was very central to the movement.
So, just moving ahead, trying to understand how it has gained strength from time to time. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, a lot of people feel, actually brought moderation to the RSS, but his, some of his biographers and those of us who have witnessed his politics, actually it was a moderate face, but his core beliefs only strengthened the RSS. It paved the way. So, what was his contribution?
You remember his famous sentence, he said that I am a Swayamsevak after all. So he remained a Swayamsevak. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee had the gift of oratory. He was considered to be a good orator. I don't agree with that. But he was considered to be a good orator, as Narendra Modi.
How good a poet is he, since you're a history teacher?
To call him a poet is, again, as a student and a teacher of literature, I would banish anyone from my classroom who calls Atal Bihari Vajpayee a poet. So it's outrageous if you call him a poet. But he is now being taught not in our department, fortunately, in the English department of Delhi University.
English department?
As a poet, yeah, mind you. It's, ironies, one of the many ironies of our time. But anyway, so Atal Bihari Vajpayee indulged in doublespeak. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was a very clever, smooth talker, and he was, and people wanted to believe him, trust him. That is the most important thing. That if I want to believe you, I would overlook or ignore many things which are critical to understand you.
I think it's even a little more complicated. I mean, you have sympathy with the hate agenda, but it doesn't look aesthetic. He brings a sort of dignity and aesthetics and acceptability
to those who don't mind hatred against Muslims. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was a very convenient figure because he created space for them to support Jansan and to support RSS. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee was a parliamentary personality. I define him in this manner. So despite his being an RSS man, he was this. And that created a kind of ambiguity around him, which allowed people to say that he is the right person, wrong party, like Somnath Chatterjee or others had said.
No, but I mean, his role, say, in the Delhi massacre, or even with the Babri Masjid demolition from the side, is very culpable. No?
Yes, so he indulges in doublespeak. I said that he was, after all, a Swayamsevak. He could not have deviated. You read his speech after the attack on Parliament by the so-called sadhus in the cow protection movement. That was the first attack on Parliament.
Okay.
And you read his speech after that. He was defending them. So there is no doubt. People didn't have any doubt. My father didn't have any doubt. Harishankar Persai, one of the greatest writers of Hindi, he didn't have any doubt.
Doubt about?
About Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
No, understanding, the complicity of a very wide range of political and social actors in enabling the RSS to rise in a way that at least Europe has not yet gone down that path. So let me talk about a few others. I mean, I would like to talk, of course, about Advani, the Aam Aadmi Party and its whole agitation, but also the Congress. So let's sort of take that in sequence. So Advani's contribution, I mean, was it decisive?
Advani was very decisive, and his more critical to the project of Hindutva than even Narendra Modi, because Narendra Modi became an instrument.
Yes.
And now I understand how fascism takes place, because the idea is very much there, but you always need a personality. And that personality has to, I would say, represent that hatred and violence in its most
nakedness.
raw
Yes, yes.
form. And then it starts coalescing. Like it happened, anti-Semitism was always there, but Hitler had to come, and that idea had to, and that is how it became very lethal. So Narendra Modi played that role, but it was Advani who gave a very decisive turn to Indian politics. He defamed the word secular. He started this campaign, which was wrongly called Ram Janmabhoomi campaign. It was actually Babri Masjid demolition campaign, and he used the idea of mass mobilization to mobilize hatred against Muslims under the garb of religion. That is what. So Advani is very, very critical, and yet he was seen as a civilized man by many of our friends and political parties and others, and he was not hated and still not hated. And people lamented that, well, Advani was
he was the best prime minister
unseated.
we did not have.
We didn't have, and he was unseated by Narendra Modi. So there was lament. Advani is very, very critical, and we have not yet studied his impact on Indian politics. Poor man, he is now languishing.
But do you think that it was him who was able to legitimize the violence of the RSS, bringing it into the mainstream of our politics with the Babri Masjid demolition?
Yes, because Babri Masjid demolition did shock all of us, but we could never go back. It was only moving forward further from there, moving forward from that spot, and we could never muster the courage to what was promised then, to rebuild a Babri Mosque. Congress never ever went back to the idea which it had itself promised. So what Advani did, Advani presented a fait accompli, that you have to accept it, and that is how I would say this victorious phase of RSS or Hindutva began. This was Advani.
And the demolition of the Babri Masjid was not about one medieval mosque, but about the status of Muslims in this country. It was that destruction.
No, and it was also, we must not forget, it was also about democratizing the mobilization of hatred. Because since lakhs and lakhs of Hindus were involved, how could it be undemocratic? It was the will of Hindus.
It was a popular movement.
And we call it movement. And I often keep wondering, the movement is a positive thing. So when we call Ram Janmabhoomi Andolan, Ram Janmabhoomi Abhiyan, and Ram Janmabhoomi movement, it was actually a mobilization to demolish Babri Mosque, which we never say. But one who has observed that campaign knows how hatred became, I would say, it came out in the open, and you could feel it in the air, and people started living with it. That is what Advani did. And in the era of Advani, also again, civilized people started migrating to the RSS fold. So he achieved that.
Looking back at our history, there were three major movements against corruption. One was the JP movement. One was Vishwanath Pratap Singh's. So the first movement brought the RSS into the mainstream. The second movement of VP Singh brought the BJP into power in alliance with the whole spectrum from left to right. And then we had the Aam Aadmi Party movement, which pushed civil society more and more in the direction of the RSS. So would you like to talk about that?
1977 was the first time when Jansangh entered state apparatus. And it benefited from that.
Yeah.
Atal Bihari Lal Krishna Advani was information broadcasting minister, and he did his job very well.
And they embedded people.
So that's what I say when I say he did his job very well, by putting RSS people in crucial positions in the media, and that bore fruit later. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee became a very respectable statesman, globally, foreign minister. So RSS entered the state apparatus, gained legitimacy. That was 77. And after that, again, VP Singh was not too far behind. VP Singh came, and VP Singh formed his government with the support of left and right, both. Yeah. And this is again, RSS gained legitimacy, strengthened itself, and became a mainstream thing, which had started in late 60s. Now it was very much, and by then RSS had thousands and thousands of schools across India. It had Ekal Vidyalayas. It had many outfits with different names, and you could not identify them. And RSS never said that they were part of RSS. As this time the RSS chief has said that it doesn't have any subordinate organizations, but we know what Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad is, what Sanskar Bharati is, what Seva Bharati is, what Vidya Bharati is. All of them, and they hold their Pratinidhi Sabha, in which all these organizations, including the representative of BJP, has to be present and give their report, annual report, progress report. So, and this network, and RSS, why RSS wanted to remain overground? Because all this could not have happened if RSS were not allowed to work overground. And strangely, it was again allowed to remain outside the purview of all legalities, because it remained a non-registered organization, and no government objected, not even Congress, no income tax department ever tried to find how RSS is functioning, what is the source of funding.
Absolutely.
So, and that I say that there was sympathy for RSS in common Hindus and in powerful Hindus. And so Vishwanath Pratap Singh was also responsible for mainstreaming RSS. Yes, what Arvind Kejriwal India Against Corruption movement did, it delegitimized Congress completely, and it created a void. Again, you have to give them credit, or you have to give credit to Congress party, for it had abdicated its role then. And it was as if Congress didn't want to rule anymore. And that is how a void was created, and that void could be filled only by Bharatiya Janata Party, because it had the wherewithal. And I would also say that when we talk about political personalities, we should not let the corporate world off the hook, because it was the corporate world which decided to bring Modi to power in Delhi. And Arvind Kejriwal agitation could not have happened without tacit backing of corporate world, because you see how media.
Yeah, the media, I mean, it was like, I mean, there's so many agitations, but
the way it was covered.
Yes, absolutely.
And the royal coverage that it got, it was corporate media which did it. And corporates did it. And then corporates, they were preparing and they were laying ground for Narendra Modi. Since you have worked in Gujarat, you have followed Gujarat very closely. from 2007 itself.
Yeah, with Tata's Nano.
Tata's Nano, and then Tata proposing Narendra Modi as potential Prime Minister, and then Ambani, and then all corporate leaders who had in post 2002 criticized Narendra Modi. They by now had realized that UPA had done what it could for them, and they wanted unfettered access to natural resources and public resources, and that UPA was not doing. And there were many laws,
The rights-based laws also.
right-based laws, which were hindering the profit making of the corporate world, and the only promise was Narendra Modi. So they brought Narendra Modi to power, and this is a story which we need to write. But how Arvind Kejriwal movement played its role, how this void was created and the corporate world was working since 2005-06, and then Narendra Modi.
But also that the RSS cadres substantially held up the
Yes,
movement.
they did it. It was in background. RSS was always there, and RSS was waiting in the wings. And RSS works through in political field through BJP. So they saw, and RSS was very clever because it's a survivor. It was very clever. Narendra Modi, if you again remember how he treated RSS and Vishwa Hindu Parishad in Gujarat, it literally destroyed them.
Yes.
But RSS decided to adopt him. And I remember my conversation with a senior RSS functionary in 2013 when Narendra Modi was being promoted as the chief of the election campaign committee of RSS, of BJP. I asked him that you know very well that he doesn't hold you in high esteem, RSS, and he has decimated you in and now you are under his domination in Gujarat, and you are irrelevant. It's Narendra Modi, it's not RSS. So how have you agreed to become irrelevant and anoint him as the leader? And he smiled and he said, one, to become irrelevant, remain irrelevant under Congress rule, and to become irrelevant under Narendra Modi. So what's the option you are suggesting? So they had made their choice.
Right.
And Narendra Modi, again a colleague of mine who belongs to RSS, he explained it very well, the relationship. He said that, well, tell me about an RSS chief who had this privilege of flying the private jet and who had the privilege of having Z plus security and who is televised all over India and world wherever he speaks, and he is on the front page. No RSS chief ever had this power. This RSS chief has, but what is the source of power? The source of power is Narendra Modi.
Okay.
And the kind of money that was given to RSS, you have to go and see their headquarters, Jhandewalan. Haritosh Singh Bal has written about it. The kind of money that they have, the way they were bribed, and they bribed at every level. I know in my university, I know how small-time pracharaks, the power that they enjoy, and the swagger with which they move in university campus and elsewhere, from where this power comes. If the corporate world withdraws, then where does RSS stand? And they know that the medium is Narendra Modi for now. It can be some other figure if corporate world so decides. So I hold corporate world hugely responsible for the plight that we are in, and for each and every murder of Muslim. All corporate leaders should be held accountable. They are responsible.
But there's one other huge culpability, and that's of the Congress. and we need to think about that as well. I mean, I very recently, I mean, a year or two ago, when the Congress was completely wiped out in one of the North Indian states, I spoke to a former chief minister, and I said, "What happened?" And he said, "Full penetration of the RSS." So I said, "Where?" He said, "In the Congress. Where else?" You know, and I've seen its penetration. You know, it's allowed its penetration in the civil services, in the police. You talked about you know, the first laws we talked about of cow protection came under the Congress. Step by step, they've. I was reading again that Ravi Shankar Shukla, the first chief minister of the central provinces, actually invited the Vanvasi Kalyana Ashram and helped set them up in order to fight against Christian missionaries. I mean, that was their official goal. So the Congress, and of course the mistakes that Rahul Gandhi made, Rajiv Gandhi made vis-a-vis Shah Bano and the Babri Masjid, Narasimha Rao's contribution. So how would you, would you say that the Congress after Nehru has steadily failed the legacy of Gandhi and the freedom struggle? And
why after Nehru? Let's talk about the times of Nehru. Who is other political leader, Congress political leader, other than Nehru, who defends the idea of secularism as a sacred idea? It's only Nehru.
It's only Nehru, yes.
So he is not supported by Rajendra Prasad, he is not supported by Vallabhbhai Patel, he is not supported by Sampurnanand, he is not supported by Ravi Shankar Shukla. No one.
He's supported by Maulana Azad.
Maulana Azad, yes, but Maulana Azad is Muslim.
Okay.
So Jinnah was not very wrong when he feared, or when he said that if Hindus come to, or in India, Muslims would be reduced to the status that we are finding them in now. That was Jinnah's fear. And that happened because, as I said, that it was Sampurnanand, and the first laws were brought by the Congress people because they entertained this idea. There is a contradiction between the democratic urge and the secular urge, because you think that what you are practicing is democracy, and for that you don't mind aligning with those who are anti-Muslim, because you see that it's perfectly legitimate to overthrow a government and get majority, and you never think that what impact it's going to have on Muslims. And this I find very surprising, because even the left didn't think about it, didn't think about the steps that it was taking, what impact it is going to have on the life of Muslims. And that was the first question that Gandhi had, and that remains the question even today in India. So yes, Congress and the complicity, and again I would say that the Hindu common sense that majority of Congress leaders had brought them closer to the ideology of RSS. So banning of Urdu, and why Nehru kept writing to chief ministers that the presence of Muslims in services is minimal. So Nehru kept reminding them. But why did they not make conscious effort to fill that gap? These are questions.
I think the project of the RSS to keep the Indian Muslim now in a continuous sense of fear has reached a very advanced stage of success. But my last question is a difficult one and probably not a fair one. But how much hope do you have that we will reclaim that India?
Well, hope is a wrong word. I don't use this word anymore. it is very difficult. All you can do, and all now I want is return of the basic level of rule of law. So I don't even now think of India of our dreams, etc. I want an India, an Indian state where you have rule of law, where you won't be allowed to hit a Muslim because of your prejudices. So I'm not going to cure you of your prejudices. You can go on entertaining that idea, but that idea should not be allowed to lead to violence against Muslims, and this is the role of the state. So I want that bare minimum to come back by any means. Elections are the way.
Yeah, I hope we get there, but I hope we can go a little further as well. But thank you so much. It was an absolutely riveting conversation. I regard you as one of our bravest, finest public intellectuals in this really difficult time. So thank you for what you do and for sharing this time with us.
Thank you. My pleasure.